China has recorded falling marriage rates for 9 consecutive years from 2013 to 2022. While the number rebounded in 2023, marriage registrations tumbled again the following year. Some 4.75 million couples in China registered marriages between January and September 2024, representing a 16.6% drop compared with the same period last year.
Hey, the birth rates are falling below replacement levels. We need to make some babies. Who's up for the job? Older women or younger women? Gee, I wonder. Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. In this video, we're breaking down some basic sociology that applies to all that dating foolishness, helping men better understand why the drama in the world today is not a fluke. Human behavior impacts society, and society impacts human behavior. It's a cycle. Marriage and birth rates have been declining worldwide, driven by rapid changes in gender dynamics, cultural expectations, and economic realities. That's why China is so fascinating to study from a sociological perspective. Once upon a time, they implemented a one-child policy to curb population growth. And now, that same policy has come back to haunt them.
China has approximately 34.9 million more men than women. The surplus stems from decades of prenatal sex identification and selective abortions. Chinese families traditionally prefer sons over daughters to continue their family lines. The preference for boys, combined with China's now abandoned one-child policy, has created a society where there aren't enough single women available for marriage. Many families decided that they only wanted a boy, despite government propaganda stating that having a boy or girl is equally good.
The mortality rates for girl babies was higher than for boys, so it was clear that parents were more willing to use their resources on boys than on girls.
This sets the tone perfectly. Leftover women are leftover women for a reason. There's a practical side to human behavior. Let's talk about it.
Ain't that a man?
就是在世俗的眼光中，就是他总给你定义一个，比如说你什么年龄应该做什么事儿，他就问我们说，你们是吧？不结婚，你到时候老的时候你们生病了也没有人照顾你们啊，你们到时候会过得特别特别惨。我想做的是我能够自主的选择，而不是说被迫的妥协。所以我也希望，比如说婚姻什么的，它不应该是成为你精彩人生的一种束缚。
There it is. The leftover woman emerges from a modern mindset. These women prioritize independence, often preferring to be married to their boss than their husband. Having children or building a family takes a back seat, despite warnings about aging and future realities. The desire to live in the moment outweighs preparing for the future, but reality hits hard when these women encounter the Chinese wall.
00后小朋友就是更加的活在当下，他们就是比我们更加的，就是说把注意力放在自我的感受上和自主意愿上面啊。所以我觉得通过这件事情也是就是一个现代文化思想与可能老一辈的这个中国传统思想的在婚育方面的这样的一个碰撞。
Older generations had a different experience, living in a different time under different societal norms. Their mindset and behavior reflected that. Here's where the red pill truth comes in. Modern times create modern women, and we're not going back to traditional behavior unless society forces traditional conditions. Guess what? That's exactly what the Chinese government is trying to do to save its population from imploding.
They would like women to get married at a younger age and more women to get married. So I think marriage is a key, especially in a place like China, where you have almost no children outside of marriage. Part of the way they controlled population growth is by controlling marriage.
China's aging population is outpacing new births. Some 9 million babies were born in China in 2023, the lowest figure since records were first kept in 1949.
Not enough people to support the aging population or to create a sort of economic strength. I really think the government is kind of panicky. And in the meantime, young people are like, forget it.
Some Chinese cities have tried to boost marriage rates and incentivize childbirths with cash bonuses. Luliang City announced that starting in 2025, any couple who registers locally will receive 1,500 yuan if the bride is younger than 35 years old. It also said couples will receive 2,000 yuan for their first child born in the region. But some people feel the subsidies aren't enough to offset the costs of raising a child to adulthood.
There you have it. Marriage is tied to procreation and survival. Historically, during the one-child policy, Chinese families preferred sons to continue the bloodline and care for the family. But now, with birth rates shrinking to dangerous levels, the focus has shifted to young, fertile women. It's not romantic, it's practical. The government knows that marriage and childbearing are foundational for survival. Take those subsidies for brides under 35, for example. It's no coincidence. A woman's fertility declines sharply after 35, and after 40, it's a free fall. The leftover woman is left over because she can no longer fulfill these practical societal expectations.
In a meeting with the women's rights group All China Women's Federation, Chinese President Xi Jinping said women must embrace a new trend of family as the nation grapples with its demographic crisis.
Let's read it. It's necessary to actively cultivate a new culture of marriage and childbearing and strengthen guidance on young people's view on marriage, childbirth, and family. Xi Jinping. See that? A new culture. Don't be surprised if arranged marriages make a modern comeback or artificial childbirth becomes mainstream. The survival of the nation depends on it. It's not just women feeling the pressure. Single men are in the crosshairs too. They could face taxes for staying single, whether by choice or not. Why? Because all that money they're making and not spending on women and families hurts the economy. Somebody has to foot the bill for these future children, right?
What's behind this newfound preference for fast food chains and cheap drinks? For most, it's about the money. In China, weddings are seriously expensive, with costs that include a pre-wedding dowry and bride prices, as well as the actual ceremony itself. A case study by the Renmin University of China showed couples spent an average of 330,000 yuan to get married. Some people say that the financial stress makes it harder to find love.
We're only 5 years from 2030, and it's predicted that 45% of women will be single and childless. Personally, I think that number will be even higher thanks to the snowball effect of all that dating foolishness happening today. Modern society isn't exactly promoting healthy, long-term relationships. But hey, let's see what happens. Like always,
management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.